My boss announced my resignation in a company-wide meeting while I was sitting 10 feet away, holding a coffee I had not even tasted yet. Daniels decided to pursue other opportunities, she said, smiling at 47 people on Zoom. My name was still on the payroll. My resignation letter did not exist. My name is Daniel Mercer. I was 38, a senior project manager at Halden & Rowe, a mid-sized logistics software company in Charlotte. I had been there 9 years, long enough to know which conference rooms had broken thermostats and which executives lied with eye contact. My boss, Claire Whitcomb, was 46, polished, soft-spoken, and dangerous in the way glass is dangerous when you don't see it on the floor. For 5 years, she called me her right hand. I built our biggest client account, Eastbridge Freight, worth $1.8 million a year. In February, I was also due a $62,000 performance bonus tied to that renewal. Claire knew my wife, Lena. She had eaten brisket in our backyard. She sent flowers when my father passed. Trust has a smell when it rots. At first, I mistook it for stress. The first sign came on January 9th, when my badge stopped opening the executive suite. Security said, "System glitch," while the scanner blinked red and cold air pushed through the lobby doors behind me. Then Claire moved our one-on-ones to Friday at 5:15 p.m., always with her camera off, always with a keyboard clicking in the background. The third sign was my calendar. Meetings disappeared. Eastbridge calls I had led for 3 years suddenly had a new organizer, Claire. When I asked her about it, she gave me that calm, porcelain smile. "Daniel, you've seemed overwhelmed," she said. "I'm not overwhelmed," I said. My mouth had gone dry. "I'm being removed from my own account." She tilted her head. "That's a very emotional interpretation. The discovery happened on February 3rd at 8:42 a.m. I remember the time because my coffee was still steaming and the office smelled like burnt espresso and printer toner. I walked into conference room B for the weekly revenue meeting and saw my name on the slide deck under voluntary departures. Not possible departures. Not restructuring. Voluntary. Claire stood at the front in a cream blazer, clicking through slides. My ears started ringing so loudly, I barely heard the projector fan. Then she said it. Daniels decided to pursue other opportunities. I looked around. My coworkers stared at their notebooks, their screens, their hands. Nobody looked surprised. I stood up so fast my chair scraped the floor. "Claire, what are you doing?" She blinked once. "Daniel, this isn't the place." "You just told everyone I quit," I said. My fingers were trembling around the coffee cup. "I did not quit." Her smile thinned. "We can discuss your transition privately." "No," I said, my heartbeat thudding in my throat. "We can discuss the truth publicly." That was when I saw Aaron from HR in the corner, not taking notes, not reacting, just watching me like a man waiting for a train he already knew was coming. By noon, I found out it was worse. Claire had created a file called Mercer Performance Concerns on the shared HR drive, but she had forgotten one thing. I still had admin access from an old migration project. The folders smelled digital and sterile, but my hands were damp on the mouse. Inside were 6 incident summaries I had never seen, all dated within the last 3 weeks. Missed deadlines, poor attitude, client dissatisfaction. One even claimed Eastbridge had asked that I be removed. Then I opened an email from Eastbridge's VP, Marisol Vega. "Claire, Daniel is the only reason we renewed. We want him leading implementation." Claire had forwarded it to Aaron with one line. "Need him gone before bonus triggers." I stared at those words until they blurred. Behind me, the office hummed with keyboards and polite laughter, like nothing sacred had just been dragged across the floor. The second twist came from my own team. My analyst, Priya, pulled me into the stairwell that afternoon. It smelled like concrete dust and someone's lemon hand lotion. Her eyes were wet. "Daniel, she made us write statements," Priya whispered. "What statements?" "She said if we didn't confirm you were difficult, our roles might be reviewed." My stomach folded in on itself. "Who signed?" Priya looked down. "Most people." For 3 nights, I slept in pieces. I would wake at 2:17 a.m., then 3:40, then 5:06, staring at the ceiling fan as it chopped shadows across our bedroom. Lena would whisper, "Come back to bed." But I was already sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling screenshots until my eyes burned. The house smelled like cold coffee and worry. I felt humiliated in a way that sat under my skin. Not just because Claire tried to take my job, Because she had made people I mentored afraid to tell the truth. The turning point was a voicemail from my father's old friend, Mr. Alvarez, who had run a machine shop for 30 years. His voice crackled through my phone while rain tapped the windshield outside our house. "Danny," he said, "when someone tries to bury you, don't climb out screaming. Mark where they put the shovel." I sat there with the phone warm against my palm, watching raindrops race down the glass. My chest stopped feeling hollow. It started feeling hot. The next morning, I began building the file that would bury Claire's version of events. Not her lies. I hired an employment attorney named Janice Bell, who wore navy suits and asked questions like scalpels. "Do not resign," she said across a conference table that smelled faintly of cedar. "Do not threaten. Do not vent in writing. You are going to become boring, polite, and impossible to discredit." I saved every email, every calendar change, every altered performance note. North Carolina allowed recording with one-party consent, Janice confirmed, so I recorded my next meetings. I requested my personnel file in writing. I asked HR for copies of the complaints against me. I sent Claire calm follow-ups after every conversation. Per our discussion, I wrote, "Please confirm your statement that Eastbridge requested my removal." She never confirmed it. Then I called Marisol at Eastbridge. "Daniel," she said, confused. "Claire told us you were taking leave for family reasons." My hand tightened around the phone. "Did anyone at Eastbridge complain about my work?" "Absolutely not," she said. "Do you need that in writing?" "Yes," I said, looking at the rain-streaked window. "More than you know." The plan almost failed on February 14th. Claire scheduled a transition discussion with Aaron from HR and slid a document across the table. The room was too warm, and the cheap vanilla air freshener made my throat tighten. "It's a mutual separation agreement," Aaron said. "4 weeks' pay. You sign today, this stays friendly." I scanned the page. No bonus. No unemployment acknowledgement. A non-disparagement clause so broad I probably couldn't tell Lena what happened. Claire folded her hands. "Daniel, this is generous." I looked at her face, the same face that had smiled over dinner in my backyard. Why would I sign a resignation agreement for a resignation I never offered? Aaron's pen stopped moving. Claire's jaw flickered. Just once. I stood, placed the document back on the table, and said, "Please send any future communication through my attorney." For the first time, Claire looked unsure. 2 days later, she made her move. My laptop was remotely locked at 9:03 a.m. while I was typing an email to finance about my bonus calculation. The screen went black, reflecting my face back at me, pale and tight. 5 minutes after that, security appeared by my desk. "Daniel, we need your badge," one guard said quietly. The office went silent. Someone's phone kept vibrating against a desk like a trapped insect. I said, "Am I being terminated?" He looked uncomfortable. "We were told you resigned." There it was again. The lie, wearing a uniform. I took a breath, slow enough to taste metal in my mouth. "Please note that I am not resigning, and I object to being removed under false pretenses." Priya stood up across the aisle. Her voice shook, but it carried. "He didn't resign." Then Mark from finance stood. I heard Claire say the bonus was the issue. One by one, heads lifted. Claire came out of her office, heels sharp against the floor. Everyone back to work. Priya said, "No." That one small word cracked the room open. The climax came the following Tuesday at 10 a.m. in a boardroom on the 18th floor, where the windows showed Charlotte glittering like it had no idea my life was on the table. Janice sat to my left. Across from us were Claire, Aaron, the CFO, and a board member named Evelyn Shaw. The room smelled like polished wood and tension. Evelyn opened a folder. "Mr. Mercer, your attorney sent serious allegations." Claire leaned forward. "This is retaliation from a disgruntled employee." Janice tapped her tablet. "Let's listen to February 14th. My own recorded voice filled the room. Why would I sign a resignation agreement for a resignation I never offered? Then Claire's voice, cool and unmistakable. "Daniel, if you fight this, the performance file becomes much harder to explain away." The CFO's face changed first. His eyes moved to Claire, then Aaron. Janice slid printed emails across the table. Marisol's statement. The forwarded, "Need him gone before bonus triggers" email. The fabricated incident reports. The calendar removals. The forced statements. Claire's cream blazer confidence drained slowly, like water from a cracked vase. Evelyn looked at her. Did you create false performance records to avoid paying a contractual bonus? Claire swallowed. The sound was tiny, but I heard it. Aaron said, I was following direction. Claire turned to him, stunned. You approved the file. And you instructed me, he said. There was the third twist, bitter and satisfying. The people who helped her lie were now lining up to survive her. Evelyn closed the folder. Claire, you're being placed on administrative leave effective immediately. Claire looked at me then. Not angry, not sorry, almost offended that the ending had not obeyed her. Daniel, she said softly, after everything I did for you? I felt my nails press into my palm under the table. You mean before or after you tried to erase me? Her eyes shined, but no tears fell. Mine almost did. Justice arrived in paperwork, not thunder. Claire was terminated within the week. Aaron resigned before the internal investigation ended. Halden and Rowe paid my $62,000 bonus, 6 months of severance, attorney fees, and issued a formal correction stating I had not resigned and had no performance findings. Eastbridge threatened to leave unless Claire's replacement apologized directly, which he did on a call where his voice sounded like gravel. Priya kept her job. Mark got promoted. I did not stay. People asked why. The answer was simple and impossible. The building smelled like betrayal. The elevator chime made my shoulders tighten. Every conference room felt like a stage where someone might rewrite my life while I sat there holding coffee. I started consulting in April from a small office above a bakery in Matthews. Some mornings, the whole place smells like cinnamon rolls, and sunlight cuts across my desk in clean gold lines. My first client was Eastbridge. Marisol sent the contract with a note. We still want the person who tells the truth. I should say it felt perfect. It didn't. Claire lost her title, her power, and the story she tried to sell. I got my name back, my money, and the satisfaction of watching facts do what anger never could. But I also lost 9 years of believing loyalty protected you. I lost the easy comfort of trusting a mentor, a co-worker, a friendly smile over dinner. I won. But some victories do not feel like fireworks. They feel like sitting